Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bad Girls Talk. This is Wisdom's daughter, and I just did a redirect from my other channel. I am not even sure if it worked, so we will see what happens. It should send everybody over here automatically. So I'm gonna give people time to come into the room, and we had Honeybee was first in the room. She's like, "I'm here, baby. I am here for it." So we're gonna give people time to come over to Bad Girls Talk. All right. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this intro. Let's see what we got.
Butters and Black Soap offers high-quality, handcrafted butters, black soaps, and oils made with all-natural ingredients that improve the appearance of hair, skin, and nails. Try Butters and Black Soap's amazing collection of African black soaps sourced from Ghana and infused with ingredients such as turmeric, oatmeal, sea moss, coconut milk, activated charcoal, and more to promote healthy-looking skin. Say goodbye to dry, cracked skin with the Sea Moss Body Cream by Butters and Black Soaps. This non-greasy formula will leave your skin soft and supple. If you want to achieve a natural, healthy glow, try one of their whipped shea butters. Indulge in the luxurious feel of African black soaps and more by Butters and Black Soap. Shop now at www.blacksoap.com. Use custom code WISDOM for a 15% discount. Shop now.
Hey, baddies, babes, and gents. You are over here on Bad Girls Talk. This is, you can call it my backup channel. It's a channel that I started a few months ago and haven't done like an official launch. But I did want to make sure that we had some content over here. And, you know, sometimes we're going to come over here because we need to talk about some things that are just a little, maybe just a little too much for the picnic, I'll say. And so we are over here and we're going to be talking about Kim Porter. So I'm going to share now actually the article that caught my attention. And it's because of this particular article that I decided to even talk about Kim Porter. So I'm going to pull it up. And then we're going to be talking about two other victims that you see, April Lampros on the left and Joy Dickinson on the right, because I actually have their official complaint. Some really interesting things. So if you guys haven't already done so, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel so you can participate in the chat, and make sure you share this video and share the link to the channel with your peoples. All right, so let's go ahead and get straight into it. Let me pull up this article because, as I said, we're going to be looking at some excerpts from Kim Porter's memoir, and it was really, really, really telling. Really, really telling. So this caught my attention. Diddy's ex accuses him of abuse from beyond the grave. Radar reveals explosive contents of Kim Porter's never-before-seen memoir. He hit me with a chair. Now, some of you guys actually remember the video that went public that CNN got a hold of and released of Cassie, where he threw, I think, a vase or something at her. And so here we have the same thing. I don't know what real man would do the things that Diddy does, but shout out to Honeybee and Name Change 412 in the building. So let's get into this article. Diddy's late ex-girlfriend, Kim Porter, detailed the alleged abuse she suffered at the hands of a disgraced producer, who fathered 3 of her children in a never-before-seen memoir. So I do have to put the banner up because this is alleged, okay? And all commentary on this channel and on my other channels, just remember, are for entertainment purposes only, okay? So A source who wished to remain anonymous, and I'm not surprised because one thing that we've seen is that people around Diddy seem to disappear. Okay, Tupac, Biggie, another producer that was trying to holler at Cassie, and Kim Porter herself. So the source of this document wanted to remain anonymous, but provided the memoir to RadarOnline.com and said it was found on Porter's long lost flash drive. It was given to the informant by someone very close to Kim and Diddy, who was written in the and it was written in the months leading up to her sudden death, this individual claimed. While we have been unable to independently verify those claims, the 40-page manuscript, so this memoir 40-page manuscript, which we have reviewed, meaning Radar Online, is filled with explosive anecdotes about the actress and model's time with the rapper who was born Sean John Combs. Right. In one chapter, Porter, who wrote about how jealous the rapper's short fuse made her, walk on eggshells, and recall one instance where he allegedly sent her to the hospital after brutally beating her with a chair. And so she's going to talk about that particular story. Kim Porter is absolutely beautiful. Hey, I got Juju D and Silver Goat in the building and many more in the bushes. Shout out to all of you guys who were in the bushes. Look at how beautiful this woman is. She was absolutely gorgeous. And the fact is, this happened well before, to my knowledge, well before Cassie. And so, unfortunately, there wasn't an intervention done. So here's Kim Porter with her 3 children. Beautiful. All right. She passed away in 2018. Those of you who don't remember, she was 47 years old when she passed away in her Los Angeles home shortly before midnight on November 15, 2018. Now, those close to Diddy have been very verbal about the suspicions around her death. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner listed her death as natural. That was the cause of death. And the cause as lobar pneumonia, a condition marked by inflammation and infection in the lungs. But unanswered questions surrounding her death have resurfaced as allegations of violent behavior stack up against Diddy, including another one of his exes, again, Cassie Ventura, alongside a federal trafficking investigation. So those of you who are wondering why Homeland Security stormed his house, it was because of that. Okay. They were looking for evidence to implicate him or to clear him in some type of an trafficking investigation. So people on social media have suggested that Porter's death may have been a move intended to prevent the release of the memoir that she obviously never finished, in which their source said she discussed with Diddy's alleged involvement in the unalivement of Tupac Shakur. So I had heard about this. That there was a lot of information that she was going to release in this memoir. Now, Combs did address, I should say Diddy. I'm not going to call him Combs. He doesn't deserve that kind of respect. Diddy addressed the Tupac conspiracy in 2008 in an interview with All Hip Hop. He said, "This story is beyond ridiculous and completely false." Well, we know that Diddy has said that before, and so who knows if he's telling the truth or not. Neither Biggie nor I had any knowledge of any attack before, during, or after it happened. It was a complete lie to suggest that there was any involvement by Biggie or myself. So this is what he said about that. Now, Porter's father, Kim Porter, her dad, told Rolling Stone that he was disgusted by the hotel surveillance video from 2016 that was obtained by CNN, which showed Diddy, who was 54. I didn't even realize that he was that age. I was getting ready to say that old, but 54 is not old. All right. I didn't realize that he was that age. And again, many of you know that video showed him kicking and dragging Cassie Ventura. He said it made him wonder whether his daughter suffered similar abuse during her 13-year relationship with the music mogul. What's more, former Bad Boy rapper Mark Curry told the outlet of Porter's relationship with Diddy. "I remember Kim used to go through a lot of that stuff. If you live around them, you get to see the toxic relationship. I think every relationship he had that I experienced around him was like that." We got Sherrod Newsom in the building. I said what I said. She said, "Hey, WD, I'm going to listen to the replay." All right, Queen. So here are some of the things that were said in the memoir. Porter described the exchange that led to her hospital visit in the purported memoir obtained again by RadarOnline.com, writing, "We were supposed to go out for dinner, but he was in a foul mood," meaning Diddy. Diddy yelled, "What the F?" I would have to walk on eggshells as I came out of the bathroom, but I found him holding flowers, so I smiled. "You brought me flowers?" Diddy yelled, "No. So who the F are they from?" I was bewildered and told him honestly, "I don't know, probably just a fan." He threw the attached card at me. I picked it up and read it. "Sean, he slapped me so hard I hit the ground." And he yelled, "Who the F were you with the other night?" I looked down at the card that was lying next to me and it read, "The other night was amazing. We must do it again." And here is the actual excerpt from that document. Again, a source who wished to remain anonymous sent the files that they're saying are from Kim Porter's long lost flash drive containing a purported memoir that she was writing in the months leading up to her death. And again, this is all alleged. According to the document, when she tried to explain, Combs threw the flowers. Well, we've seen him do that before because he threw a vase at Cassie. He said, "That's not how this works. You have my child. You don't touch anyone unless I allow it." Whew. You don't touch anyone unless I allow it. Interesting. And so those of you who are familiar with this case know that some of the things that he would do with Cassie is he would make her lay down with other men, and not just other men, but escorts that he would force her to obtain herself. And so he ultimately was controlling who touched her and who she touched. And here is admitting to Kim Porter. Now, I don't know where Cassie Ventura's daddy was, but Kim Porter's daddy was in her life. And I just don't understand how all this went down and dad didn't know about it. She wrote, "Diddy picked up my coffee mug and slammed it against the wall. Coffee flew everywhere as he yelled, who the F this ninja think he is?" While desperately trying to calm him down, Porter insisted it was just coffee with the producer. It was nothing. She explained they met up to discuss me starring in another movie that he wants to produce. So Diddy explodes and says he wants to put the move on my effing family at the top of his lungs. My effing family? He flipped the table over, breaking it. It was a heavy table, but Sean, meaning Diddy, is stronger than he looks. Wow. I pleaded with him, "Sean, please." He yelled at me, "What?" I tried my best to calm him down. He probably didn't know. It didn't come up. "You're publicly dating someone else." So he screamed at me, and it somehow seemed even more intense. "So you didn't tell him to back off?" "Sean, I didn't." And then out of nowhere, he hit me with a chair. I don't remember anything after that until I woke up in a hospital room. My arm was in a cast, hanging from a sling. My face hurt. My eyebrow was in immense pain, and as was my lip. As I came to, the first face I saw was that of the man that put me there. And that's coming from this alleged memoir. Now, she says, Diddy asked with concern in his voice, "How are you feeling?" I responded, "Stay away from me." "I understand you're angry." I glared at him as I cut him off. "I'm serious, Sean." He spoke blandly with no energy. "And tell them what? That you had a car accident? They'll pity you. That you hit your head?" He was going to make me look crazy. They were going to believe him. He was a kingpin. Kingpin, you're an effing bastard. Sean spent the next 6 months helping me heal and working his way back into my life and into my bed. I was so damn stupid. And of course, I wasn't cast for either movie. From what I understand, the producer died of pneumonia. Whoa, 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 whoa. So Kim Porter mysteriously died of pneumonia. And the producer, who Diddy felt was moving in on his woman and his family, also died of pneumonia? That's not suspicious at all. Tiger Lily said, I firmly believe one of her children released the transcript, namely the son she had with Chris. 313 Best Side is in the building. I got Legacy Moon in the building. How much Did I miss? I had to take my shower. We just got started. You ain't miss it. And you're saying that you think Kamora Lee released it. Somebody that is close to the family released this information. Tiger Lily said, if I'm wrong, fine, but my gut feeling keeps me coming that way. Diddy is not above sending those flowers to have an excuse. I didn't even think about that he might have actually did it just to have. So, who knows? But one thing is for sure, Diddy's a liar. He's been caught lying so many times. His word cannot be trusted. Whether he's a habitual liar or a pathological liar, whatever you want to call it, he cannot be trusted. Legacy Moon said, my family didn't know I was in a DV marriage. I didn't tell. I was embarrassed until he almost unalived me. Wow. Wow. Legacy Moon, one day we're going to have you come up here and tell your story when and if you're comfortable. And that is pretty much what I'm going to be doing on this channel. Is I want to do at least one interview, not at least, I want to do one interview a week. I don't think I even have the bandwidth to do more than that. But between 2 to 4 interviews a month where people have an opportunity to share their story. And it's not to say that it's always going to be a story about abuse or victims. It can be a story about how you started your business. It could be a story about how you turn your finances around. But I know that many of you have your own stories and don't necessarily have a platform to tell your story. So when we say bad girls talk, and we're not excluding our kings, okay, because they have stories as well. And I actually have some men that I do want to come up and talk about some things, because there's nothing like having a man's perspective, especially when you're dealing with issues that involve both sexes. And so we'll talk about that offline, but I would definitely love to schedule you for an interview and just kind of share, because someone in my own family was in a DV marriage and nobody knew. And it wasn't until she told her testimony. And the crazy thing about it is that I swear I remember seeing bruises, but she covered them up so well. And who would have known? And unfortunately, I've heard of women married to deacons and pastors in the church who were also victims. I know someone, I don't know if she's going to feel comfortable enough to tell her story, but it's amazing to think that a pastor's wife got this man preaching in the pulpit. People are getting saved. They're coming to the Lord. They're telling testimonies about how they're being blessed and their prayers are answered. And that very same man is treating his wife like that. So Legacy Moon said maybe her son's father, I'll be sure, did it. Yeah, not sure. But anyway, it's really interesting that this producer died of pneumonia, which is the same thing that she died from. So I'm wondering if there is a way to inject something. Was this, and again, this is just alleged, this is just my theory. Did he have some type of a bioweapon or access to something he could use as a bioweapon to cause someone to develop symptoms that mimic pneumonia to cover up what he really did? I don't know. Writing in the supposed manuscript, she said Diddy apologized and told her, I don't know what came over me, but she was afraid for her safety because they were in a private hospital room and no one would hear me. I could scream like my life depended on it, but it wouldn't matter. As she lay in the hospital bed, the musician allegedly said, I was just so jealous. You know how I am. I'm sorry, baby. I promise I'll never put my hands on you again. I swear. She recalled thinking, I've heard this song too many times. Porter then wrote, she was concerned Diddy might lie and say that she had a car accident, claiming he told her they'll have pity on you, that you hit your head. He was going to make me look crazy. They're going to believe him. He was a kingpin. And again, he spent the next 6 months working his way back into her life. And as she admits, back into her bed. She says, I was so damn stupid. And of course, I wasn't cast for either movie. From what I understand, that the producer died of pneumonia. It was unclear when the alleged incident occurred, but Porter noted that Combs was publicly dating someone else at the time. This is her with her son. Just absolutely beautiful. Cassie made it out. Kim Porter didn't. The pair met, meaning let me just see. Okay, so the pair met, meaning Kim Porter and Diddy met when she was working at his label at Uptown Records, and they started dating in 1994. Now, this is significant because there are victims going back to 1991. They went on to have 3 children together: 26-year-old rapper Christian Casey Combs, aka King Combs, and 17-year-old twin daughters, Delilah Starr and Jesse James Combs. The supposed encounter referenced would have likely occurred sometime between Christian's birth in 1998 and the twins' birth in 2006. As Porter noted in the memoir, that Christian was with the nanny at the time and wrote about delivering her twins in the next chapter. The source who gave RadarOnline.com access to the document plans to publish the entire thing under the title Kim's Lost Words: A Journey for Justice from the Other Side. And so we'll just have to wait. But those of you who are wondering, this memoir is going to come out. Someone said exactly what I said. The producer died of pneumonia. This is not a coincidence, and neither was Kim's death. Dirty Diddy has something to do with both. I can only imagine how much evidence that the feds have on that fool. This is going to be a complete circus when they finally arrest that fool. No more secrets. That would have been a great title for the book. No More Secrets: A Journey for Justice from the Other Side. So I don't know who you are that released the memoir, but if you haven't already published it yet, there's a title for you: No More Secrets. So that is ultimately Kim Porter's story. She is describing exactly, almost to the T, what we saw in the video. Unfortunately, the violence that Cassie Ventura was subjected to. So here's another victim. I don't have a picture of this victim, but this victim alleged that she was a minor, 16 years old, and she had an encounter with Diddy, and he essayed her. Okay. She filed a lawsuit against him and Aaron Hall in November of 2023. So it says a woman who accused Sean Diddy Combs and his friend Aaron Hall of SA in a November lawsuit has filed an amended complaint which reveals that she was 16 years old when the alleged assault occurred. Lisa Gardner is her name. She filed her amended complaint on Tuesday in New York County Supreme Court, where she claimed that the age of consent for relations in 1990, when the alleged assault happened, was 17 years old. So she was underage. Gardner previously alleged in November that Combs, 54, and Hall took turns with her and her friend after meeting them at an event at MCA Records' New York office. While the original complaint said Gardner was coerced into engaging in relations with Combs, the amended version says she was physically forced into doing that with Combs against her will. And that because she was a minor, she was not able to consent to drinking alcohol allegedly given to her by the two men. At the time Combs had assaulted Ms. Gardner, she recalls feeling the side effects of the alcohol. She recalls Combs mounting her, pulling up her skirt, and removing her clothes and forcefully taking her. As included in the original complaint, Gardner alleges that afterwards she got dressed, Hall barged into the room, pinned her down, and had his way with her. The suit also claims that Combs turned violent, days after the alleged assault and allegedly assaulted and choked Gardner until she passed out. A representative for Combs cannot be reached for comment. Of course not. These are so. This is what ultimately was said, because this is what Diddy does. Diddy is going to deny, right? It wasn't me. Sound just like Nesta. Sound just like Ernest Williams. Wasn't me. Wasn't none of me. He said these are fabricated claims, falsely alleging misconduct from over 30 years ago and filed at the last minute, as if that matters. This is nothing but a money grab. Ooh, remember he said the same thing about Cassie Ventura. That's his go-to. Because Mr. Combs' fame and success, He is an easy target for anonymous accusers who lie without conscience and consequence for financial benefit. Same lie he said about Cassie. Too bad a video didn't come out about Miss Gardner. So many of you are familiar that the New York legislature did not intend or expect the Adult Survivors Act to be exploited by scammers. The public should be skeptical and not rush to accept these bogus allegations. This is what the spokesperson for Diddy is saying at the time. And so those of you might be aware of the Adult Survivors Act, which allowed people to, for a certain period of time, to bring forth allegations when the statute of limitations had already technically been up. And so Garner says that her life has been overwhelmed by depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and strained relationships with men since the incident. There's also a testimony from a friend who recorded Garner telling her details of the assault in 2019, as well as a letter from a former therapist who says Garner told her in 2014 that she had been essayed by two men in New York at age 16. So this is one of the reasons why Diddy is facing trafficking charges, primarily because this young lady was brought to New York. She's underage. I believe this is the young lady who was flown out. And so they're coming for him. June's Poetry said, my mother was almost unalived by stabbing. I witnessed it all. The verbal escalation to punching to stabbing. Violence can escalate so quickly. And I'm so sad that you had to witness that. Violence and intimacy are closely linked. Think about it. A man doesn't beat a woman or a girl he's not sleeping with. Yeah, that is true. That is, wow. That Tiger Lily, I'm telling you, you always come with that real wisdom. The first medical examiner ruled that Kim was poisoned, and he mysteriously passed away shortly, and she mysteriously passed away thereafter. The second examiner ruled it as pneumonia. Silver and gold, you are absolutely right. I remember that. I do remember that. I remember that there was a first autopsy result that said it looked like she was poisoned, and then somebody who he probably paid off. So yeah. So this victim didn't get nearly as much exposure as the others, but she has come forward and she told her story. Now we're gonna get into another victim who alleged that she also was the victim of a gangbang at 17 years old in 2003. And she also is alleging that she was drugged and assaulted. And that would be Joy Dickerson Neal. And that claim is from 1991. That's this lady here behind the full complaint. And so we're going to hear from her. We're going to go right to her court documents. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about her. But the charges that Diddy ultimately is going to be facing, if he is charged with everything that he's accused of, is S, misconduct, harassment, S, trafficking, and RAP. And that's just extending from Cassie. That's not the others, the other, male victim and so forth. And so this is why, for those of you who are wondering, well, what's the big deal? Why is Diddy being looked at for trafficking? That's why. That is definitely why. So I'm going to stop sharing for just a minute because I want to, actually, I wasn't sharing. I was just reading that. But I want to pull up this woman's story. We're going to talk about Joy Dickerson. She was the second victim. Didn't know a lot about her. And I became very curious about her story. So hang on just a minute. Let me pull up her information. I have it in my email. And I will come back to, it's awful because a lot of people looked up to Diddy. I mean, he's a mogul. He is he's talented. Nobody really wants to look at Diddy that way. And then you realize, wow, he's not who you thought he was. And the sad part is that because he has the money, he can lie. He can lie. That's the wrong article. And that's his go-to. And so Cassie made it so that he can't lie. And I'm like, Cassie Ventura is a G. She did what unfortunately Kim Porter was not able to do for herself. So I'm going to actually want to share this particular article with you guys, and then we'll go to the court documents. So the article is titled, Who is Joy Dickerson Neal? And then I'm going to share with you why her story is so important, because I believe she is, in terms of her story and in terms of being a victim, she is the earliest known victim, I believe, in this case. So here she is. And I'll move this out of the way. So this is Joy Dickerson Neal. She's the second person to accuse Diddy. Okay. So again, she alleged that she was drugged and essayed in 1991. She lodged her complaint in Manhattan Supreme Court on November 23rd of 2023. And this was one day before the expiration date of the New York State Adult Survivors Act. Now, she alleged that in addition to the essay, that Diddy participated in revenge porn against her. Footage was allegedly shared with his associates in the music industry. And she said that video circulated, and that was basically the detriment of her health, her reputation, and professional opportunities. Ms. Dickerson Neal's legal action follows a lawsuit. And so we're going to look at her lawsuit in a minute. But let's learn a little bit more about her. So she was born in New York in 1970. Her father passed away 6 months after she was born. And so she was raised by her widowed mother, who she says instilled strong moral and ethical values in her. And I can identify with this because I was raised the same way. Now, my father was in my life a lot longer than that, but around that crucial age, 12, 13, when you start exploring and whatnot and getting curious about stuff, I believe that that is the crucial time that you really need your father. And I'm pretty sure that Joy was very much like me. She knew right from wrong. She knew what her mama told her, but she was going to do what she wanted to do anyway. This was Diddy. This was an opportunity to be around a celebrity, but we weren't raised, with the knowledge that you need to be afraid of men in power and men with money, and to be careful not to be alone with men like that. We weren't told that men do things like the things that Diddy did. In 1987, she enrolled in Syracuse University, which is her late father's alma mater. She was a psychology major. There, she developed a reputation for her commitment to her studies, and she was 17 years old when she enrolled at Syracuse. Ms. Dickerson Neal financed her studies by working as a server at Wells Restaurant in Harlem, New York, for my Harlemites, I should say. Later, she worked as a receptionist at Apple One, a talent agency. She went on to work as an assistant at Stress Management, a company that represented DJ Funkmaster Flex. She was a location scout for Gary Brewer, a renowned cameraman in the film industry. She also worked with film director Chuck Stone and collaborated on music videos for Grammy Award-winning artists such as A Tribe Called Quest and Michelle Andiocello. So I'm not going to go into too many details on this because we're going to look at her. We're going to look at her court documents. But basically, she's describing the essay, the humiliation, bystander betrayal, and the emotional trauma inflicted by Sean Diddy Combs. Look at his face in this picture, if you guys can see it. Now, at the time, Joy and Diddy belonged to the same social circle. Now, remember, this is before he was Diddy. This is before he was Puffy. He had just gotten into the industry. I think this is before he officially had Bad Boy Records, and before he really became famous. They had previously collaborated on the music video Straight from the Soul by Finesse and Sinquise. She asserts that she rejected his persistent advances due to rumors of his misogyny. However, she eventually acquiesced and agreed to have dinner with him. On January 3rd, 1991, Joy claims that Diddy spiked her drink while she was in the restroom at Wells Restaurant in Harlem. Now, my mama taught me that if you have a drink, don't leave it. Don't leave it. And if you leave your drink, don't come back for it. My mother instilled that in me. My mama didn't tell me don't drink because she knew that that was pointless. You know, if you go out, you're going to have a drink. First of all, get your own drink. I know it's cute. Oh, girl, he got me a drink. She's like, if a man offers to buy you a drink, go with him. Go with him to go get the drink and keep your eye on the bartender. Because sometimes they will pay off the bartender and they'll be in cahoots. If you walk away from your drink, it's done. You don't drink it. So she got up to use the bathroom. My mama would have said, when you came back to that drink is done. I'm not drinking it. Drink water. Anyway, after leaving the restaurant, she says he transported her to 2 other locations, a recording studio and his home. He subjected her to SA, resulting in severe pelvic pain. Traumatized, she alleged that she chose not to seek medical attention or to report it to the police. And this is a common victim response, or a common response of victim survivors of SA. A lot of times victims, they get blamed. Well, if this happened to you, why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you report it? It's never that simple. It is never, ever that simple. That's like asking a man, well, you're saying that another man, did this to you. Why didn't you tell somebody? Fear, embarrassment, shame, just to start. In fact, they're saying that SA is the most underreported crime, with 60% of victim survivors never filing a report. She withdrew into self-isolation, and when she felt safe and able, she confided in her best friend about the alleged attack. And so we know that there are similarities between her story and all these stories. If you look at all these women, even if we wanted to try to defend Diddy or try to look at it from his perspective, their stories are all very similar, although they happen at different times. Soon after the alleged encounter or incident, she claims to have discovered, meaning Joy Dickerson Neal claims to have discovered that Diddy had secretly recorded the incident without her knowledge or consent. And Devontae Swing, I believe he's from the, I forget what group he's from. Is he from? Oh man, I can't think of the group that he's from. But anyways, an R&B group. But that was a mutual friend. And allegedly, he told her that Diddy had shown him the tape. And when she asked who else had seen the footage, Devontae responded, everyone. Devontae said that he wished, Devontae said he wished to take a stand against Diddy, meaning that he wanted to do something about it, but his fear that his band, okay, so he was from the group Jodeci, that his group Jodeci might lose their record deal. And that's what stopped him. And I believe Diddy knew this. Diddy knew, because he paid his people well, because they had record deals, that these people were not going to risk losing what they had. And Diddy was Jodeci's AR at the time. So again, he didn't even have Bad Boy Records. He was an artist in repertoire, whatever it stands for. She claims that Devontae was willing to ignore that Diddy allegedly essayed her and victimized her in order to safeguard his own interests. She describes in the lawsuit bystander betrayal, which is a common feature of grape culture, where victim survivors face a collective unwillingness to condemn SA among community bystanders, often driven by fear. So I'm going to put a link to this article for those of you who may want to read the rest of it in the link. We're going to go to her court documents now. Let's see if I can pull those up. All right. So let's see how I can merge this. All right, let's just try it like that. Unfortunately, we tell our girls that the man that hits me, I'll be the last one of his hits, as if that's advice. Our parents don't believe that it's ever going to happen to their little girls. BC. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And this is hard to hear, but some of it is about education. Because you never think it's going to happen to you. Unfortunately, you just never do. All right, so here is her complaint. those of you who want to see it. And so she is plaintiff brings suit against defendants to redress the substantial and lifetime injuries she suffered as a result of being drugged, essayed, and abused, and being the victim of revenge porn. She's seeking damages to redress the injuries she suffered again as a result of all those things. She was a college student, as I said, at Syracuse University, pursuing a degree in psychology, filled with hopes of a bright future. I mean, this was a young girl. Now, she was on break for the holidays, and she reluctantly agreed to an early dinner with Diddy. They had many friends and acquaintances in common, and she had appeared with Diddy in a few clips of a music video. After dining at the famous Wells restaurant in Harlem, home of Chicken and Waffles since 1938, Combs pushed Miss Wells to keep him company as he attended to a few things in the city. So that was the con. They had dinner. Oh, come with me. I got to take care of a few things. Just come with me. Getting into Combs's car that day was something that she would come to regret forever. During their date, he intentionally drugged her, resulting in her being in a physical state where she could not independently stand or walk. Driving first to a music studio where she could not get out of the car, Combs proceeded to a place where he was staying to assault her. As was his practice, but beknownst to Ms. Dickerson, Combs video recorded the SA. And that's what the feds were looking for. They were looking for tapes, and they got them all. If this sounds familiar, Diddy's a predator. Let's just keep it real. He's a predator. We don't want to think of him that way, but he's a predator, and it's not alleged, okay? I always say it all the time. Everybody ain't lying. And he kept records, trophies. These videos, they were trophies. R. Kelly did the same thing. R. Kelly did the exact same thing. He recorded everything. Nesto, same thing. Oh, that's why I record and I keep everything on a recording in case I might need it later. Need it later for what? But in Diddy's case, this was so that he could go back and watch it and relive this fantasy. Diddy is sick. We talk about R. Kelly, but we've been sleeping on Diddy. Days later, a male friend revealed to her that he had viewed the tape along with other men. And when she asked him how many people saw it, he said everyone. She dropped out of college. She struggled with her mental health. And she struggled progressing in her career. The assault and public exposure caused her to suffer overwhelming feelings of humiliation, embarrassment, violation, and constant apprehension to all who viewed it. As Combs' success and wealth rose quickly, she tried to block his existence out. She tried to put her life back on track. Still today, Ms. Dickerson continues to work on her emotional health, economic recovery, and finishing her college degree. Seeking accountability from Combs under the law is one more step in that journey. Just imagine someone does that to you, and then she was violated 3 times. Let's just be clear. She was violated the first time when he did it. She was violated the second time when he distributed or showed the video of what he did to her. And then she was violated a third time, having to watch this man be successful and having to watch this man not pay for his crimes. So again, this is a 22-page document. I'm not going to read all this. A lot of this is just statutes anyway. I just wanted to kind of read a little bit of her story. So here's what they said about the defendant. So Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy or Puff Daddy or Diddy, is a Grammy Award-winning musician. At all relevant times, Combs is a resident of New York State. Prior to the release of Combs' debut album in 1997, he was a prominent member of the New York hip-hop community. From 1990 to 1993, he was known for working as the talent director at Uptown Records. And one of my cousins and two friends who I called my cousins, even though they weren't actually my blood relatives, had a record deal with Uptown Records. Now they never became famous uh or anything like that. They did record one EP, and I'm not gonna sing it for you because it's corny. We the uptown hoods. Anyway, yeah, it was stupid. Combs, also known for throwing parties that attracted thousands of attendees, included the who's who's of the hip hop world. I share with you that when I was underage, just a little bit younger than Joy when she was assaulted at the time, that I went with an older cousin who had a connection to Diddy because he was a real estate mogul, and he was actually he was selling homes. Now I don't know if the home that Diddy had this party is one of the homes that he sold to Diddy, but anyway, through that person, we were able to go to one of these Diddy parties. I told you guys that I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. However, when you go to Diddy's party, there are levels. And when I say levels, meaning that depending on who you are, determines where you can go on his property. And so the nobodies are kind of like, chilling in the front part. Yes, he really did have a huge ass bed in the middle of the lawn, and there's alcohol everywhere and it's flowing. They're not asking for ID and yada yada yada. Cars everywhere. We had to walk so far just to get to the house. And then of course, my little, sneaky behind is over here trying to get past security, and I'm flirting and, you know, doing what I'm doing, licking my lips and carrying on, trying to get past security. And thank God that I didn't get past security, because I had no idea what was really going on. I wanted to hang with Diddy, and I could have easily been like Joy. 1992, Combs founded Bad Boy Records. 2008, Combs was the first male rapper to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I did not know that. Diddy was the first male rapper to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Not Snoop Dogg, not Dr. Dre, not so many others that I can name, Big Daddy Kane and whatnot, Funk Master Flex. No, Diddy. In 2002, Forbes estimated that Diddy was one of the wealthiest hip hop artists in America with a net worth of over $1 billion. I want to see the receipts, but anyway. So that's just a little bit about Diddy. Now, on May 8th, 2017, Cindy Ruta, Diddy's personal chef, filed a suit in Superior Court of the state of California alleging that he sexually harassed her. In 2019, Gina Hoon, an ex-girlfriend of Combs, detailed in an interview how he physically abused her. On November 16th, 2023, Cassie, an artist signed onto Bad Boy Records, filed a suit in the Southern District of New York alleging that Combs forced her to film herself having relations with a S worker. Given the extensive media coverage of Combs' abusive treatment of women, defendants, Bad Boy Records, and Combs Enterprise LLC had knowledge and were put on notice of the abuse allegations made against him. But they didn't do anything. So it's eye-opening. You can't trust anybody. I mean, damn, you just can't trust anybody. I'm not gonna read through this because I've read most of it. I'll just read a couple things really quickly that I didn't. So in the coming weeks, the plaintiff, meaning Joy, did her best to pull herself together so she could return to Syracuse University. She experienced traumatic flashbacks of the assault, extreme sleeplessness for days on end, social withdrawal, and would recoil at even the most basic physical touch. I know what that's like. That recoil ain't no joke. When you've been through something like this and somebody I was on a college tour, and there was a boy that I really liked, and he could sing. Oh God, he could sing. Now he was caramel skinned with hazel eyes, and he could sing his butt off. So not only was he physically handsome, but he could sing. And I liked him a lot. And we were just on a 1 week college tour. I had just met him. So, everyone's hanging out and whatnot. So I'm already crushing on him. And we're on a tour bus, very much like one of Nesto's coach buses. And it's nighttime, and we were getting off the bus, I think, to go eat because we were on our way to our next college campus or whatever. We had gone to Tuskegee, Alabama State, Virginia State, NCCU, Howard, Clark Atlanta, and a number of other HBCUs. And how when you're on the plane and you're waiting for people to get off, so you're kind of standing in the aisle. So he's standing in the aisle, and I'm in the seat at the aisle. Now he's tall, very tall. And where I was sitting, my head was right at his waistline. So he leans in and he kind of grabs me around the shoulder and pulls me towards him. And do you know I recoil with the quickness? I don't know why he was not trying. Well, I do know why, but at the time, I don't know why he was not trying to harm me. But my head was so close to his waistline. You understand what I'm trying to say? And that part of his body, that, I mean, instant terror. And I don't know what the look on my face was, but I saw the look on his face. And it was a combination of like, what the F, disgust, fear, shame, like confusion, all in one facial expression. And later on, he asked me, "Why did you do that? What did you think I was going to do to you? I was just giving you a hug." And I broke down crying because I knew what it was. I just didn't want to accept what it was. And then I was also crying because I figured that he wasn't going to like me anymore, because he gave me, part of those looks was a look of disgust. Like he was disgusted that I responded to him like that. But I knew what it was. I had a lot of repressed memories. I knew that something had happened to me to make me respond like that. And it reminded me that I would often be uncomfortable with physical touch, especially from men. Don't touch me. Don't put your arm on my shoulder. Don't hug me. I couldn't even hug. Sorry, y'all. I had to jump on my phone. Um, so those of you who were at the picnic on my All right, y'all. So I keep getting kicked off. June's poetry is not you, darling. It's definitely not you. The lightning finally got me. It done took my whole computer out. I still got my lights on now. Still, I'm about to check the Frigidaire to make sure that the Frigidaire is working. But anyway, so we're gonna do part two. All right. We will come back to this. I don't know if I'm going to do part two live or if I'll do it in a recorded video, but there will be a part two because I wanted to get to the second victim and her receipts. Because this wasn't just her telling a story. This was her telling a story and saying, but I got receipts. And that was the former model. So, all right. Guys, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you being over here at Bad Girls Talk. If you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and there will be more to come. So, baddies, babes, and gents, I bid you all a good night. Thank you so much for tuning in.